All right, today we're going to jump into the fascinating world of probiotics, prebiotics, and postbiotics. We're going to look at how the core science behind our gut health is fueling major industry innovation. Now, if you're thinking about a future in bioscience, this is exactly what you need to hear. So let's get right into it. So here's the big question, right? We're looking at a market that's absolutely exploding. We're talking over $70 billion in the next few years. That's huge. For anyone like you looking to make a real impact, figuring out how to get from a discovery in the lab to a product on the shelf, well, that's the whole game. So how exactly do we do that? Here's how we're going to break it down today. First, a quick welcome to the microbiome. Then we'll meet the three key biotics. After that, we're doing a deeper dive into probiotics. Then we'll cover their support system. And finally, we'll tie it all together and talk about your future in the bioscience industry. Okay, first up, the microbiome. Before we can talk business, we have to understand the incredible universe living inside each of us. This is so much more than just gut health. It's a complete inner ecosystem. Just let that sink in for a moment. Trillions of tiny organisms are influencing pretty much everything, from how you fight off a cold to your metabolism and even your mood. Recent studies are drawing these really clear lines between specific gut bacteria and things like anxiety. This is exactly why the microbiome isn't just some cool scientific idea. It's one of the most exciting frontiers for both human health and for massive commercial opportunity. All right, now let's meet the main characters in this story. You've probably seen these words on labels everywhere, but getting the scientific differences straight is absolutely crucial. A really good way to think about it is like tending a garden. You need the seeds, you need the fertilizer, and then you get the harvest. Let's see how that applies here. First step, probiotics. In our little garden analogy, these are the new seeds, the actual plants you're adding. Now, the official definition has two parts that are non-negotiable. They have to be live, and you need enough of them, an adequate amount, to actually get a health benefit. Think of them as reinforcements for your gut, helping your native bacteria out when they're struggling, maybe after a round of antibiotics. Next, we've got prebiotics, and these are the fertilizer for your garden. It's a simple idea, but it's so powerful. See, we can't digest these things, but our good microbes absolutely love them. They use them as food, which helps them grow stronger, and in turn, helps us. And that brings us to postbiotics. The key word here is inanimate. They aren't alive. To finish our analogy, postbiotics are the beneficial stuff your thriving garden produces. It's the harvest. Even though they're not living organisms, these byproducts and components still offer proven health benefits, which, from a product development standpoint, opens up some really cool new doors. Okay, let's zoom in on probiotics now. We're going to get a bit more granular because when you're talking about turning science into a business, the details are truly everything. Look, you can't just say probiotics and call it a day. The benefits are incredibly specific. You really have to get the taxonomy. It goes genus, then species, and then, most critically, the strain. So, for example, when you see Lactobacillus paracasei shirota, that last name, shirota, is the specific strain. That's the part that has all the documented health benefits tied to it. And honestly, this is the golden rule. You have to remember this. It is not enough to just have the right species. You need the exact strain that's been proven in clinical research to deliver a specific benefit. If you're developing a product, this is your scientific bedrock, period. So what do these strains actually do down there? Well, they're super active, and we can think of their actions in three ways. First, they play defense. They beef up our gut lining to keep bad stuff out. Then, they play offense. They compete with pathogens for space and resources, and even produce substances to fight them off. And finally, they play a vital support role by helping to regulate our own immune system. So we get how the live helpers work. Now let's talk about their essential support system, the prebiotics that feed them, and the postbiotics, which are the beneficial results of all that hard work. Okay, you might be thinking, isn't this all just fiber? And that's a great question. While all prebiotics are fiber, not all fiber is prebiotic. You see, general dietary fiber is great for things like laxation and heart health, but prebiotics are a special type of fiber that specifically feeds the good guys, which leads to much more targeted benefits, like a more balanced microbiome, better mineral absorption, and a stronger immune response. And this field is just getting started, really. We're moving way beyond the prebiotics we all know, like inulin. Scientists are now looking at this whole new generation of candidates. This is the cutting edge. Take human milk oligosaccharides, or HMOs, for example. They were first discovered in human milk, obviously, but now they're being researched for their incredible prebiotic effects in adults. This is where the next wave of innovation is coming from. To make this real, let's look at an actual product. This is EF2001. It's a postbiotic, meaning it's heat inactivated, it's not alive. But check out the science behind it: 5 human clinical studies and 7 global patents. This is proof that postbiotics are not just a concept. They're a legitimate, scientifically backed, and commercially powerful category, especially since they're often more stable and easier to work with in different products. Right, so seeing something like EF2001 with patents and clinicals, that shows you the end game. So let's pivot and talk about you. How do you take all this science and actually turn it into real-world innovation? This is all about that journey from the lab bench to the marketplace. Think of this as your starting blueprint for becoming a bio-entrepreneur. If you want to create something successful, you have to nail these questions. Who is this for? What does it look like? Is it a capsule, a drink, a face cream? What makes it different from everything else out there? And most importantly, what's the rock-solid science that proves it works? And how are you actually going to get it to people? And believe me, the opportunities are just getting bigger. The next frontier here isn't just about digestion anymore. We're talking about the gut-brain axis for things like mood and focus. We're looking at the gut-skin axis for dermatology. And we're on the cusp of truly personalized nutrition based on an individual's unique microbiome. The potential here is just massive. So let's end with this. This isn't just a recap. It's a challenge to you. With all this incredible science and all this market potential, the real question is, what are you going to do with it? As a future leader in this field, how will you take these discoveries and turn them into something that has a real, tangible impact on people's lives? The future of this industry is in your hands. Go build it.